This is going to be yet another look at what Justin Houston is doing early in the 2022 season. Kind of unbelievable the rate at which he's getting sacks for the snap counts that he's playing each game. I'm going to show or talk about comparisons between two players. Look, he's got 6 sacks, only played in 4 games, limited number of snaps in the last 2 weeks. I think 24 plays he was on the field against the Bucks, 16 plays he was on the field against the Browns. 40 snaps, 4 sacks. Incredible. 4 sacks in his last 40 times being on the field. Josh Hoffman said it best on Twitter. Whatever we're doing to preserve him in terms of snap counts, like, let's preserve him. Like, can we keep this version of Justin Houston for the entire year? Or if we can't, can we bottle it up and open that bottle when we need it? Late in the regular season, presumably against the Bengals and whoever else we've got to win games against late in the season to get in good playoff position, and then in the playoffs, wherever we end up, wherever the season ends or takes us. Unbelievable. Let's talk about the stats for a moment. I've got him at 149 snaps for the year in 4 games. The 5th game is the Patriots game. He played 6 snaps. All right, didn't record any sacks, any QB hits, anything. 6 sacks in 149 snaps. Okay, 149 plays. Matthew Judon is leading the NFL. He's got 8.5 sacks. He's playing about 45, 48 snaps, and he's played 7 games so far. So let's just call it 50. 350 snaps, 8.5 sacks. Now, he's got a significantly higher number of quarterback hits than Justin Houston does, but he's played in 7 games. Like I said, Justin Houston's only played in essentially 4. And 2 of those are, 16 snaps and 24. All right, Nick Bosa, 7 sacks on the year. He's only played in 6 games at this point. His snap count looks like about an average of about 50, maybe 45. Let's call it 50 for easy computation purposes, and give him 300 snaps on the year, 7 sacks. What Justin Houston is doing is, I hate this word as it pertains to athletes, particularly Ravens players, but what Justin Houston is doing is not sustainable. There's no way he can continue to get 4 sacks for every 40 times he gets on the field, for every 40 plays. That is not a sustainable rate. Think about it this way. That would mean if he plays 400 snaps this year, he's going to get 40 sacks. That's impossible, right? It's an unbelievable ratio in terms of his impact. Hopefully you guys appreciate the graphic too, by the way. I'm getting ready to show some film. Just going to show his sacks. And I think I give you both angles against the Bucks and both angles against the Browns. And then the rest of the ones this year are kind of, just aggregated one angle or the other. Really unique player. 33 years old. We are so blessed to have him. Getting him back has revolutionized this defense. When we get Marcus Williams back this year, I'm going to speak that into existence, right? When we get him back, that's going to revolutionize the defense. When we get Michael Pierce back, I'm going to say that, put it out there too. Might be low probability. When we get him back, the defense is going to be different. This guy has changed the tone of this defense. He is taking these young left tackles to school the last 2 weeks. Watch what he's got the tackle doing. Jumping outside, jumping back inside, and then just bullying him into Brady, who seemed to be aware of the fact that that guy was going to get beat by Justin Houston. This is a 2-sack sequence. Kind of unbelievable, the rate at which he is winning these matchups. He's off screen. This is a different play. He's off screen. We're going to bring this cool stunt, kind of like some Rex Ryan stuff. And then we're dropping. I'm not a huge fan of it, to be honest with you, in a lot of ways. But Queen is running out of here to drop to the hash on the other side. Always running out of here. Presumably, if Fournette tried to read out, to the flats, Owe would go with him. We wouldn't just vacate that area. You will get the all-22 in a moment. And then we're bringing Hamilton, Pepe, and Houston late off the same edge. That's what I mean by some Rex Ryan stuff. Rex Ryan used this against Brady back in 2007, whereby basically he was bringing a lot of heat off of one side and vacating the rush from the other. So making it look like a 4-man rush, and then overloading the side, either the side of the back. And I think Houston's rush is intentionally supposed to fit underneath these guys. But the way it gets blocked up, I could be wrong. But to me, it just doesn't look like there's a rush lane for Houston except for folding underneath of it. Huge moment. And again, I vividly remember this being used against Tom Brady in 2007. Not necessarily the blitz from this depth here, but Oweh's going to drop out. It's trips to the top side. So you got 3 receivers to the top side, only 1 here. So my point is, with Oweh dropping out, Queen dropping here, I worry about this. Something like that. And then, a snag or whatever here. So I wonder if Oweh's just reading this guy, and if the guy goes to the flats, if Oweh's going to take him. Because it's a zone blitz concept. 5-man rush. 3 deep, 3 under. Here's your corner, Stevens to the top side. Here's another corner. Free safety off screen. You guys can't see him, but we'll pull it back. It's Chuck. And then the 3 underneath droppers. Oweh, Queen, and then I think that's Chuck, but I could be wrong. I'm not a huge fan of the zone blitz stuff. Don't think it's been working for us, but in this case, it certainly does. I wonder if I don't want to say reason, I wonder if one of the elements that why it works is because we're bringing so much heat off of one side. You can see we don't have a B-gap rusher there. We don't have a C-gap rusher here. Why can you do that? Well, if it's Bucs fans or Patriots fans who watch this, I'm just being truthful to what I believe here. The reason why we can do this is because this guy's not mobile. You can't do this against every NFL team. When they have a quarterback who can run, they might just take it here, take the easy 8-10 yards. I believe this is late in the second quarter, maybe 1:20 left. And they looking for, some kind of yards to get down in field goal range. All right, other sacks that Houston's had. I know I covered this in a recent video. I think that what's happening with him right now is just so incredibly out of line with data. Out of line with, and I don't know what the numbers are. Like, how many snaps does a great pass rusher need to generate a sack? I'm not sure what that is, but 6 out of 150, basically, 6 out of 149, to me seems like an inordinately high number for a guy, especially someone who's 33 years old. And those snaps are being, I think the key thing that the Ravens are doing that's intentional here, though, is that those snaps are being spread out. He doesn't appear to be playing a lot of first and second downs. Now, this doesn't look like a third down play to me, and it's certainly a non-typical, an atypical sack, all right? But it doesn't seem to me as if he's playing 3, 4, 5 snaps in a row, unless, it's a team in hurry up and maybe they keep him on the field. They prevent us from subbing. I think that's a really smart thing the Ravens doing. Who's responsible for it? The head coach, the D coordinator, the D-line coach, Anthony Weaver. I don't know. Whoever's responsible for it, give that dude a raise. And if you can't give him a raise, give him a shout-out. Because what we're doing is essentially like a pinch hitter or a situational pass rush guy, and he's coming in fresh. And these dudes that are trying to block him, they've played 4, 5, 6 snaps already in a row dealing with someone else, whether it's Oweh, JPP, hopefully Bowser soon, whatever. And he comes in fresh. And I don't know, man. I don't know what comparison you want to say. Like, somebody called him Yoda. I don't think Yoda's appropriate. Like, Mace Windu was somebody who stuck in my mind as a guy that seemed like an appropriate, he's getting held here, I think, on the edge by 71. Seemed like an appropriate comparison because everything's just classic and old school and fundamental with him. There's no wasted movement at all. Everything is so succinct, so abrupt that there's no wasted movement. And I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, but I seem to remember that Mace Windu was like a classic old school Jedi who held on to some real foundational elements of the Jedi Order or whatever. And I don't know a whole lot about it. So some of y'all that are Star Wars nerds, you can let me know. To me, Justin Houston just seems to be doing the same things he's done for over a decade in the NFL, but now he's kind of being given the freedom to focus on just one element. And I think that's important, and that's going to be the last point I'm going to attempt to make, which is sometimes less is more. Sometimes when you let a person focus on one job, they do that job at a really high level. I don't know what you call it. I know someone who takes materials that are like ripped up maps and then somehow pieces them back together. And he took 5 years to piece back a particular piece. I think it was a map with some information overlaid over top of it that a library now houses. And it took him 5 years to do it, which is not efficient for us. It doesn't sound like, right? But what was said to me, not by this person, but by someone else, was that if a regular person attempted to do that, it would take us 50 years. I don't know if that's true. It just reminded me of this. Like when you can specialize in one job, when you can specialize in one task, I think you can be more efficient at that task, right? That's why you have closers in Major League Baseball. That's why you have, 3-and-D guys, or maybe even just, 3-point shooter guys in the NBA or in any level of basketball, guys who sub in to be able to shoot, spot up and shoot when you've got a great player who draws gravity. Justin Houston, is he a spot-up 3-point shooter? That's not a great comparison because he's beating people one-on-one. He's beating people physically. He's not benefiting from the gravity of someone else. He's actually just lining up and kicking your ass in a pass rush situation with a high level of efficiency, particularly in the last 2 weeks. And yeah, this is the second video I've done on Justin Houston recently, but I just don't know how to not praise the guy and the people who are responsible for his usage. Whoever that is, I suspect it's probably Anthony Weaver. Give them credit, and it just makes me openly wonder how many more options, how much smarter, how much more efficient are we going to be once we get everyone, Bowser, Ojabo, Owe, JPP, Houston, all back into the fold at that edge rush position. This defense is shaping up. I know some people are not as high on this defense as others, and that's fine. But you have to admit, we have some pieces that are playing at a really high level, and I think there's no better example of that than that dude you see right there on the screen, Justin Houston. Let me know what you think of my breakdown, what you think of the incredible amount of praise that I'm heaping upon him and the people that are responsible for the production that he's given us right now.